That's right, YouTube. Cowboy here, and welcome back to another Monster Hunter World Iceborne build video. And today, we are taking a look at elemental dual blades. And before we jump into it, let's just appreciate this. Look at this amazing fashion, because you can look good while hunting monsters. But anyway, as I mentioned, today we're taking a look at elements, and in particular, I have a ice dual blade build and a fire dual blade build we're going to be showcasing. If you just want to take the build and go, here is the ice build. Now for the fire build. You can obviously do this with any element. These are just the two that I happen to put together. The main reason being that I absolutely love both Smoldering Kingdoms as well as the Velkhana dual blades. And on top of that, ice and fire covers the base for pretty much every monster in the expansion. The last thing I want to show real fast before we jump in depth and explain is if you are running something that has a hidden element, you're going to have to sacrifice elemental crit, but you essentially run the same build just with two pieces of Namiel here. And as you can see, looking at the, switch that up real fast and go to the gems, you can see it's essentially the same thing. We just gain access to that free element from that set bonus. So anyway, moving on, let's talk about elemental damage and what we're using and why. Now, if you aren't aware, elemental damage got a huge buff in Iceborne, so much so that I think it's basically top of the food chain now, whereas back in World, you know, everything was about raw, as much raw damage as possible. Get the attack up to 4, get the attack up to 7, get your crit. Who cares about element? Get raw. With the exception of like Ellie bows or the Kiar charge blades, you know, elemental damage didn't really see a lot of love, and that has changed in a very, very big way in Iceborne. Now, if you're unfamiliar with elemental damage and the benefits of, you know, how to maximize it, one of the most important things is going to be getting that purple sharpness. Now, just how purple sharpness is going to increase your raw, it's also going to increase your element. In fact, going from white sharpness to purple sharpness is going to put you up from 1.13 to 1.20 in terms of a damage modifier. So going up to purple essentially gives you an extra 7% elemental damage, which is pretty nice. Now, if you've played dual blades before, you know that one of the biggest things with dual blades is they chew through sharpness so fast. So fast. So, to combat this, we have two choices. Either we run 3 pieces of the Teostra gear to gain access to Master's Touch, or we run 3 grinder gems and a protective polish. And personally, I am 110% a bigger fan of Master's Touch here. And the reason for this is dual blades are a weapon that are all about mobility. You know, even when we're dodging the monster, we're still doing damage. We're looking to get up on the monster, get a couple of hits in, dash over, slide around with that. You know, we don't got time to sit there in the middle of combat and sharpen our blades. You know, we want to be constantly on the monster. And the only time I want to sharpen is when that monster is getting up and leaving the zone and going somewhere else. So, to that extent, Master's Touch is going to be king, hands down. Get your Kaiser gear and, you know, call it a day. Now, moving on from there, the discussion comes up of what do we go with next? Do we go for crit element with Rhyme Guard, or do we go with the Namiel gear? Now, one of the big benefits of the Namiel gear is you gain access to something that is called Namiel's Divinity, which gives you access to free element as well as element acceleration. Element acceleration will add 60 damage with a 2-piece set bonus, or 150 damage if you have the 4-piece set bonus. However, we're not going to go for the 4-piece set bonus because that requires us giving up our Master's Touch. As for the 2-piece set bonus, while a flat 60 damage is nice, all in all, you're going to be much better off with elemental crit as long as your weapon doesn't have need of the free element. So essentially, if you are looking to run a weapon such as the final boss dragon dual blades, which have very high raw, they have purple sharpness, and they have, I want to say, 360 dragon on them already. In a case like that, because the dragon element is hidden, you would want to run this build, but otherwise, you're going to be better off going for the 2-piece Rhyme Guard and getting access to crit element. Now, to go in depth into the skills we picked and why, this is a pretty straightforward build, you know. since we are looking to both use crit element as well as master's touch, crit is the most important thing here. So kind of straightforward. Crit eye, you want to get up to 7. Handicraft, you're going to want to have at least at 5 to get things rolling. Obviously, you can upgrade your handicraft charm even higher, and that will free up one of your handicraft slots. And you know, once you add augments in, you could actually get over 100% crit, and then you really only need enough to get purple. But until you hit that point, I'd recommend going for 5 handicraft just to have a little bit more of a safety net. Moving on from there, of course, your element, you're only going to go 3 points in, which I'll explain in a second. Weakness exploit, you want a 3 because it's super easy to stay on weak points with dual blades. And then that's pretty much it. Everything else is just spare stuff that's on the gear. You know, crit draw isn't really benefiting us at all. Latent power, it's good to have, but it's not really important. Heat guard just happens to come on the gloves. Flinch free also happens to come on the gear. However, 1 point of flinch free is quite nice because it means those bastard longsword users can't trip you in the middle of your own anime combos. Affinity sliders because I have a slider expert on there. So, you know, there's a lot of kind of stray skills, but the mainstays here are crit eye 7, handicraft 5, weakness exploit 3, and then 3 to your chosen element. Now, the reason we're going for 3 to the chosen element is, as you can see, our first 3 levels give us access to plus 30, plus 60, plus 100 to ice attack, taking this from 210 up to 310. However, going for 1 more really isn't going to help us that much. Going for 3 more isn't really going to help us that much. As you can see, adding another gem, I would go up to 320. Going on from there to another one. Where'd they go? We're up to 330. Let's go up 1 more just to see how big we get. And we get to a whopping 350. Wow. So big, right? Basically, the point is, as long as your weapon starts between 200 and 250 element damage, it's not worth making that extra investment. Because of that, you're better off just getting the flat 100 to your damage. This is also the case with the fire dual blades we have. It's going to put them up to 340. And the reason I find these superior is because, as I mentioned, you still have a respectably high raw, you have the purple sharpness, and 340 is still plenty of element to work with. Now, there are some exceptions to this. There are certain dual blades and certain weapons in general that sacrifice their raw damage and in some cases their sharpness, but in exchange have a buttload of element on them. And I actually have a build showcasing something like this coming up. One good example is the Enduring Schism. It is the dragon dual blades that you need. It's the tree that you use before you get to the final boss dual blades. And they kind of have potatoey raw and they only go up to white sharpness, but they come with a base, like, I want to say it's 560 dragon or something ridiculous like that. If you are running a elemental dual blade like that, at that point, you are worthwhile going for a 4-piece Namiel bonus and just taking element all the way up to 6. Because at that point, you're just looking to do pure elemental damage. You don't care about crits or sharpness or anything else. You're just looking to slap something in the face with fire or dragon or whatever it is, and that is all your life is about. However, for a more balanced approach where you have respectable raw as well as a hefty amount of element, going for something like Smoldering Kingdoms or the Untouched Hell will definitely get the job done, and in my opinion, get it done more efficiently. So that is going to wrap things up for our overview of the dual blades as well as the element. I like these builds a lot. They're pretty spicy. Let's jump into a hunt and show you what one of them can do. For our hunt, we're going to be going after everyone's favorite ground beastie, Diablos. No particular reason for Diablos beyond the fact that I need some parts from him to finish up with the hammer build. So let's go ahead and drink on up, and then we'll go down and pay him a visit. Actually, I want all those rewards. Gotta go with Cap. I actually forgot one thing. Yes. If you've never fought Diablos with Screamer Pods, oh boy. Y'all in for a treat. Gotta get rid of, I guess they're turf warring. Alright, we'll let that happen for a second. Blast Stun. You can always use Blast Stun. That's a second poop. Go away already? Okay, alright, I've severely overestimated this class. I think I finally got it to fuck off. Alright, let the hunt begin. If you've ever had trouble with the Diablos, that's all you need. Just Screamer Pods. Always loved the music on a Diablo song. That good hip check. here we go again with this. It's 2 poo-poo pods. That should be enough to send this thing away. Guy's doing some quick burrows over here. I almost feel bad for it. That's what I get, talking shit, and he gets a good hitting on me. Wait, is he? And I know you're not that strong, but oh wow, he is. Damn. And that's a GG. Hunt's done. I mean, if I had had an investigation for Black Diablos, he would have just gone for that. But I mean, to be fair, Master Rank Diablos is still, you know, not a joke. And if the first 2-3 minutes of this hunt weren't him and Blacklos duking it out, I think this would have been quite a bit faster. But even then, we had him in, what, 10:21, so, yeah. But anyway, yeah, I mean, as you can see, we sharpened once the entire time, and that was basically during a retreat sequence, so it's like, you know, ideally when you would want to sharpen anyway. And other than that, it's just a buttload of damage that you're putting out, so... Either way, guys, thanks for coming on by, taking a look at the build. Up next, we have the Switch X build up. And then following up on that, I have 2 different builds I could do, either the hammer build or an elemental charge blade build, both of them which are very, very spicy. So either way, let me know what you guys think, and I'll catch you soon enough with more.